Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most exciting areas of numismatics, the world of ultra-rare and incredibly valuable United States coins. These are the coins that capture the imagination of collectors around the globe, pieces with rich history, unique features, and astonishing price tags. From early American classics to modern condition rarity treasures, each coin on this list has an extraordinary story, exceptional rarity, and a market demand that continues to rise year after year. The 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar stands as one of the more intriguing modern U.S. circulation coins, appreciated by collectors for its place within the popular Kennedy series, and for certain rare high-grade survivors that reach surprisingly strong values. While most examples are common and inexpensive, the finest known certified pieces and rare error varieties have earned this date a respected position in modern numismatics. The coin's appeal lies in its nostalgic connection to the Kennedy era, its position in mid-20th century American coinage, and the challenge of finding pristine, sharply struck pieces from Denver Mint output of that period. As collectors increasingly turn toward high-grade modern coins, the 1972 D half-dollar has risen in demand, especially among registry set builders competing for the best possible specimen. Minted in 1972 at the Denver Mint, this coin comes from the early years of the Kennedy half-dollar series, first introduced in 1964 to honor the late President John F. Kennedy following his 1963 assassination. By 1972, the composition had already fully transitioned to a copper-nickel clad alloy, marking a significant shift from the 40% silver issues of 1965-1970. The early 1970s were a period of heavy circulation use for half-dollars, and production numbers were substantial, reflecting the coin's ongoing popularity at the time. Although no special commemorations were tied to the 1972 D issue specifically, the coin still represents a critical stage in the evolution of U.S. circulating coinage, as America moved firmly into the modern clad era. The 1972 D half-dollar features the classic Kennedy portrait created by Gilroy Roberts, well known for its detailed rendering of the president's likeness and its clean, modern design. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the presidential coat of arms, a heraldic eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by radiating stars and inscriptions. The coin measures 30.6 mm in diameter, weighs 11.34 grams, and is composed of a copper-nickel clad surface bonded to a pure copper core. High-grade examples display strong luster, clear definition in Kennedy's hair, and crisp eagle feathers on the reverse, details that collectors highly value. Because many Denver Mint coins from this period suffered from weak strikes or bag marks, visually superior examples stand out significantly. While the 1972 D half-dollar had a large mintage, over 141 million coins, its rarity emerges in the higher mint state grades. Finding examples graded MS66 and above is notably difficult, and MS67 coins are particularly rare, with only a very small number certified by major grading services. Even fewer coins exhibit exceptional strike quality with minimal abrasions, making top-tier specimens highly desirable in the competitive registry market. Additionally, a small number of minor error varieties exist for this year-end mint, including off-center strikes, clip planchets, and die breaks, which introduce additional layers of collectability. Condition is the key driver of rarity, common in circulated form, scarce in MS65, and genuinely rare at MS67 or better. Most circulated 1972 D half-dollars are worth their face value or a small premium, typically $1 to $3. However, values rise sharply in high mint state grades. Examples graded MS65 usually sell for $20.40, while MS66 coins often command $80.150 due to their limited population. The biggest price leap occurs at MS67, where the finest known coins have sold for $1,000 to $2,500 depending on strike, eye appeal, and auction competition. Dramatic mint errors can also bring strong prices, generally from $150 to over $500 based on severity and visual impact. These values reflect trends in modern series collecting, where registry competition continues to elevate the price of exceptional condition rarities. Collectors seeking a premium 1972 D half-dollar should focus on strike sharpness, clean surfaces, and strong luster, qualities not commonly found on coins from high-volume Denver production lines of the early 1970s. Certification through PCGS, NGC, or ANACS is strongly recommended for high-grade examples, as precise grading makes an enormous difference in value. When searching raw coins, pay particular attention to Kennedy's hair detail on the obverse and the eagle's wings on the reverse, both of which reveal strike strength. Proper storage, such as using inert holders or slab protection, helps preserve surface quality. Reputable coin dealers, online auction platforms, and numismatic shows are the best places to find higher-grade examples or rare error varieties. In summary, the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar is a fascinating piece of modern numismatics, blending historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and condition-sensitive rarity. Although common in its circulated form, its true value emerges in the highest mint state categories, where the scarcity of sharply struck, well-preserved specimens drives strong demand among enthusiastic collectors. Its enduring connection to the Kennedy legacy, combined with the challenges of obtaining top-graded examples, next up to the most expensive and valuable United States half-dollar from 1973, bearing the D. mint mark, is the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, particularly when found in exceptionally high mint state grades. While the year 1973 is often overlooked by casual collectors because it produced no proof coins for public sale, advanced numismatists recognize the 1973 D as a condition rarity standout within the Kennedy half-dollar series. Its importance lies not in low mintage, but in how difficult it is to locate with sharp strikes, pristine surfaces, and strong luster. As a result, top-graded examples command significant premiums and are highly sought after today by registry set collectors and specialists who pursue the finest known modern U.S. coinage. The 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar was minted at the Denver Mint during a transitional era in American coinage. By this time, the half-dollar had shifted from silver composition to a copper-nickel clad format, following the Coinage Act of 1965. Although silver was gone, public hoarding of Kennedy halves continued due to the coin's association with President John F. Kennedy, whose assassination in 1963 left a lasting emotional and cultural impact. Notably, no proof or uncirculated collector sets were officially issued in 1973, making circulation strikes the sole source of the coin. This circumstance unintentionally increased long-term scarcity in high grades, as most coins entered circulation or were poorly stored. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, obverse, and Frank Gasparo, reverse, the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, with the word Liberty arching above and the date below. The reverse displays the presidential seal, complete with a heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows. The coin measures 30.6 in diameter, weighs 11.34 grams, and is composed of a copper core sandwiched between copper-nickel outer layers. In high-grade examples, collectors prize strong hair detail on Kennedy's portrait, crisp lettering, and a well-defined eagle on the reverse, qualities rarely preserved due to mass production striking pressures at the Denver Mint. Although the 1973 D. half-dollar had a substantial mintage of over 68 million coins, true rarity emerges at the top of the grading scale. Most surviving examples exhibit contact marks, weak strikes, or dull luster. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC are extremely scarce, with only a small population certified at these elite levels. This phenomenon, known as condition rarity, is the primary driver of the coin's value. Even a single point difference in grade can mean the difference between a modestly priced coin and one worth thousands of dollars. In circulated condition, a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth only face value. However, values rise sharply in mint state grades. Coins graded MS-65 typically sell for $40.80, while MS-66 examples can reach $200.400. The most expensive specimens, those graded MS-67 or MS-67 Plus, have realized prices ranging from $1,500 to over $4,000 at auction, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Market demand is driven primarily by registry collectors competing for the finest known examples, a trend that has steadily increased prices over the past decade. Collectors seeking a high-value 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar should focus on surface preservation, luster, and strike sharpness, particularly in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. Certification by a reputable grading service is essential, as raw coins are difficult to accurately assess at higher grades. Proper storage, such as inert holders in a controlled environment, is crucial to preserving value. When acquiring this coin, collectors are advised to buy from established dealers, major auction houses, or respected numismatic communities to avoid overgraded or altered examples. The 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar stands as a compelling example of how modern U.S. coins can achieve significant value through condition rarity rather than precious metal content. Its historical connection to President Kennedy, combined with the absence of official collector issues and the scarcity of top-grade survivors, has elevated it to a prized position within the Kennedy half-dollar series. For both seasoned numismatists and ambitious new collectors, the finest examples of this coin offer historical resonance, visual appeal, and strong long-term investment potential, securing its status as the most valuable and desirable 1973 D. half-dollar in American numismatics. Next up to and the most expensive and valuable United States half-dollar associated with the year 1974 D is the 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar, particularly in exceptionally high mint state grades or with notable mint errors. While the 1974 D issue is not rare in a general sense, it occupies an important place in modern U.S. numismatics because it represents a mature phase of the Kennedy half-dollar series, a coinage type that has remained deeply popular since its debut in 1964. Collectors are drawn to the 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar for its connection to President John F. Kennedy, its role in the post-silver era of U.S. coinage, and the challenge of finding superbly preserved examples. Demand today is strongest for coins certified in the highest grades, where condition rarity transforms an otherwise common issue into a five-figure collectible. The 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar was struck at the Denver Mint during a period of transition in American coinage. By 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar had fully shifted from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition, reflecting broader economic pressures, rising metal prices, and changing public attitudes toward circulating coinage. In 1974, the United States was emerging from the social upheavals of the 1960s and early 1970s, and the Kennedy half-dollar continued to serve as both a circulating coin and a symbolic memorial to the fallen president. Although millions were minted for commerce, many were quickly set aside by the public, contributing to uneven circulation patterns and making well-struck, pristine examples from this era surprisingly elusive today. The design of the 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar remains faithful to Gilray Roberts' obverse portrait of John F. Kennedy, depicting the president in left-facing profile with strong classical lines and a dignified expression. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the heraldic presidential seal with an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch. The coin is composed of a copper core bonded to outer layers of copper nickel, measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, and weighs 11.34 grams. What makes high-grade examples visually special is the sharpness of the hair detail, the clarity of the eagle's feathers, and the presence of original mint luster. In top conditions, these coins display a frosty, satiny surface that is rarely seen on typical circulated pieces. From a mintage perspective, the 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar is plentiful, with tens of millions struck. However, true rarity emerges at the highest levels of preservation, particularly at grades MS-67 and above, where population numbers drop dramatically. Coins free of contact marks, weak strikes, or dull luster are extremely difficult to locate. In addition, certain error varieties, such as doubled dies or missing designer initials, no FG varieties, add another layer of scarcity and desirability. For collectors, condition is everything. A lightly marked MS-64 example may be common, while a blazing MS-67 plus coin can be genuinely rare and fiercely contested at auction. The market value of a standard circulated 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar is modest, typically close to face value. However, values rise steeply with grade. Uncirculated examples in MS-65 may sell for $20.40, while coins graded MS-66 often command $150-300. The most expensive examples, certified MS-67 or MS-67 Plus by leading grading services, have realized prices ranging from $5,000 to over $10,000 at major auctions, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Error varieties, particularly dramatic doubled dies or well-documented, no FG reverses in high grade, can also sell for several $1,000s. These prices reflect both collector competition and the scarcity of top-tier survivors. Collectors seeking a valuable 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar should focus on certified coins from reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC, as professional authentication and grading are essential at higher price levels. Close inspection of luster, strike sharpness, and contact marks, especially on Kennedy's cheek and the eagle's breast, is critical. Storage is equally important. Coins should be kept in inert holders, away from moisture and extreme temperatures to preserve surfaces. Acquiring top examples often requires patience and participation in major auctions or established numismatic dealers, where provenance and condition can be verified. Networking within numismatic communities can also help collectors learn about upcoming sales and rare varieties. The 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar stands as a compelling example of how modern U.S. coins can achieve exceptional value through condition rarity, historical resonance, and collector demand. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survive in the pristine states that command premium prices today. Its connection to President Kennedy, its place in the evolution of post-silver U.S. coinage, and its striking design ensure lasting appeal. For both new and experienced collectors, the finest 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollars offer not only aesthetic and historical satisfaction, but also strong potential as long-term numismatic investments, firmly securing their place in modern American coin collecting. Next up to in the most expensive and valuable United States half-dollar from 1989, bearing the P mint mark, is the 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar, particularly in exceptional uncirculated condition, MS-67 to MS-68, or with notable mint errors. While at first glance this coin may appear common due to its relatively high mintage, it occupies a unique position in modern numismatics where condition, strike quality, and eye appeal dramatically influence value. Collectors today actively pursue top population examples because truly pristine survivors are far scarcer than raw production numbers suggest. As part of the long-running Kennedy half-dollar series, the 1989 P appeals to both series specialists and modern coin investors who recognize the growing demand for high-grade clad coinage from the late 20th century. The 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, continuing the Kennedy design first introduced in 1964 following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. By 1989, half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday commerce, resulting in many coins being saved directly from mint sets rather than circulating heavily. This period marked a transition in U.S. coinage, as the denomination increasingly became a collector-focused issue rather than a functional coin. Although the 1989 P does not commemorate a specific anniversary, it reflects the enduring cultural legacy of President Kennedy and the U.S. Mint's commitment to maintaining classic designs well into the modern era. The obverse of the 1989 P half-dollar features Gilroy Roberts' iconic left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, showcasing crisp presidential details when well struck, including sharp hairlines and facial contours. The reverse displays Frank Gasparo's presidential seal, complete with an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, encircled by stars representing the states. The coin is composed of copper-nickel clad, weighs 11.34 grams, and measures 30.6 min diameter. What makes elite examples stand out is their exceptional strike, mirrored fields, and minimal contact marks, qualities that are difficult to find due to the minting practices of the era and the coin's large surface area. Although over 12 million examples of the 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar were minted, true rarity emerges at the highest grading levels. Most coins exhibit weak strikes, dull luster, or bag marks, making MS-67 and finer specimens genuinely scarce. Coins graded MS-68 by PCGS or NGC are exceedingly rare, often representing only a handful of certified examples. Additionally, certain mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or doubled dies, can significantly increase rarity and desirability. In modern collecting, condition is paramount, and the steep value curve between MS-66 and MS-67 underscores how scarcity drives collector demand. In circulated or average uncirculated condition, the 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar typically trades for $1 to $3, reflecting its face value and modest premium. However, in MS-66, values rise into the $25.50 range. The most valuable examples are those graded MS-67, which commonly sell for $300 to $700, depending on eye appeal and certification. Extremely rare MS-68 examples, when they appear at auction, have realized prices exceeding $2,000, making them the most expensive regular-issue 1989 P half-dollars known. Era varieties can command similarly strong prices, especially when dramatic and well-preserved. Collectors seeking a high-value 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar should focus on certified coins from reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC, as professional authentication is critical at higher price points. Look for coins with strong luster, sharp details on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers, and minimal surface abrasions. Storage is equally important. Coins should be kept in climate-controlled environments using inert holders to prevent tunning or damage. Acquiring top-tier examples often requires patience and participation in major auctions, specialized dealers, or numismatic forums, where elite specimens occasionally surface. The 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar demonstrates how a modern, non-silver U.S. coin can achieve significant value through condition rarity, historical continuity, and collector demand. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survive in the pristine state required to command premium prices. Its enduring design, association with President Kennedy, and growing appreciation for high-grade modern coinage make it an appealing target for both seasoned numismatists and newer collectors. As interest in registry-quality coins continues to expand, the finest examples of the 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar are well positioned to remain among the most valuable and desirable issues of their year, blending historical significance with long-term collecting potential.